Naniwa, the only non-Korean in the WCS Global Finals, against the #1 ranked player, Zerg Soulkey. Over here in the upper right, the foreign hope. Make some noise for Naniwa. His opponent down here in the bottom left, looking invincible. Make some noise for Soulkey.
You know, BlizzCon, such an awesome event every year, Tasteless. You know, in fact, this is where I started my live casting career.
Oh yeah, that's actually true.
Back in 2008, this was my first live event that I ever casted for Starcraft.
That's true. We did that together. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And you know, it was I think this is probably like my 7th Blizzard event, if you count the WWIs. So yeah, it's so good to be down here with you guys. A real honor, a real treat. Now we got these two players now starting their builds out. We do know that Naniwa is going for Gateway first, but we don't know exactly where he's going to tech. We're going to have to see, you know, from Soulkey as well, what direction he wants to take this game in.
Yeah, it's looking like Soulkey may in fact go ahead for a hatchery first. Not that weird. You know, this is a build that Zergs are using more and more and more because Protosses are not going for cannon rushes that often.
Yeah, not as much anymore. You know, when you have maps that have been around for long enough, then the cannon rushes become much less likely.
Right, so it looks like Naniwa going to go ahead and get his pylon ready for a fast expansion down there at the natural as well. And this is pretty much what you'd expect to see out of Naniwa. But will he go for the same type of unit composition as last game?
That's the big question. That's what we're going to find out shortly here. Well, while we have this short amount of downtime, the Sons of Starcraft trailer's out, Artosis.
Yeah, everyone should go check that out at ongamers.com.
It's going to be out super soon. I'm super pumped.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see it myself. Now, head-to-head here with these two players. If you're Naniwa, okay, and you're in this position, what do you tell yourself? How do you go into this match? Especially with the way that last game came out. I mean, last game was pretty brutal, man.
I think you just literally brush that game off. You just act as if that game didn't happen. Yeah, sure, you're down 0-1, but this is a best of 5. It's not like a best of 3 where that happens, you just think to yourself, well, you know, now I have to 2-0, that's too tough. But starting out 0-1, just forget about it. Play your best, bring your best game. There's probably not going to be another game in this series that looks like that game #1.
Yeah, hopefully not. You know, Soulkey probably very confident from that series, from that game rather, back there. Just, Naniwa looked weak from the way Soulkey opened. Soulkey got an opener that was supposed to beat something else Naniwa was going to do, right?
Yeah.
And instead, Naniwa was in a situation where he should be fine, but he wasn't. So yeah, Soulkey probably feeling great about this. By the way, we got Ling speed started here. And Naniwa going for this little expand build here. There's just still, though, a lot of different options here for where he can take this.
Oh, yeah. He can go down absolutely any tech route. He can go ahead and just do a gateway timing attack. He can go into a third base rather quickly. We won't know for a little bit here. My guess would be that he wants to take a quick third base. And he is getting the gates before any tech, so we could see a little bit of pressure out of him as well.
Yeah, okay, now we're getting a better idea. More gates here, but no real tech being shown. So there's a high chance Naniwa's going to try to be aggressive here and maybe punish this Zerg.
You know, 5 gate, this is one of the oldest ways to go about playing against after a gateway expand. In fact, this Overlord going to be able to scout these other two.
Now, if he sees both those, okay, now if he, at this point in time, he knows exactly what's going on. He has seen literally everything that he would need to see coming into this game. So he should be scouting around the map, looking for hidden pylons like the one we have in the center middle.
You know, whether he finds that pylon or not, he's thrown down the Roach Warren, he's making some extra Overlords, and I expect to see a lot of units coming out of Soulkey, because as long as he doesn't take any damage right now, even if Naniwa doesn't do this attack, Naniwa is a little bit behind.
Yeah, what we're seeing here, everybody, is Naniwa focusing on this attack so early, which, of course, he has to produce a lot of attacking units during that, but not teching. So if the attack fails, which is now, it's coming out here, if this attack fails, he doesn't have anything to transition into. The sentries now moving forward, going for the pylons here. Let's see if this Lynx can actually take out this first pylon down here.
Oh, but Naniwa did build that second pylon, so he will protect that for now. But already 7 roaches on the way. That is going to be a big problem. Now he does get it warped in. He can protect it from the high ground with sentries rather easily. And it looks like he'll be able to get an Overlord as well.
Hitting this Overlord now, driving this out. Anything that he can kill helps right now. And I love the warp in here on the low ground with some Zealots and some sentries continuing to push forward. Now that is the closest pylon he has up and running to his opponent's base. The Lynx coming down here again now. This is a real problem for Naniwa. He might have to force field around that pylon.
Yeah, he may have to if he wants to really save it. It looks like he might let it die. And, ooh, seeing all these roaches over here, Tasteless, he realizes that this attack is basically done and immediately makes gases at home.
Now, Naniwa is in a deficit here, but he is switching out the second he's identified that this attack is not going to 100% win this game, which is important. You see a lot of players, they'll continue to be going all in with this for, you know, even 20 more seconds when they need to shift gears immediately. Now we're going into first-person mode here of Soulkey as he is scanning around the map to see where else can he possibly deny his opponent as they attack in here.
Moving his units around very, very quickly, trying to get into position. You know, the concave, very important when fighting against so many force fields. But Naniwa right now is just trying to force more units out of Soulkey.
Yep.
He knows that he's not going to kill him right now.
Yeah,
but
he is not planning on actually breaking the Zerg at this point in time. But it could be tough for Soulkey to tell that from this position.
Yeah, that is very true. And you never know. Someone might do something like that, and it is stressful to see. So Naniwa continues to poke in. This is some great moves by Naniwa, but Soulkey really is not in any trouble.
And, of course, he's got that mothership core there, so he can get out of there very easily if he needs to. And from here, it's a balancing act for the Zerg. How many more drones can I squeeze out? Apparently, he's saying a lot. He just took 12 more out to get to his expansion. So he seems to have identified exactly what Naniwa's intentions are here. We're getting close to where the supply spike is going to start to happen for the Zerg, and the Zerg will far surpass the Protoss. But Naniwa going to try to slip down here in a surprise move.
Well, he's trying to get something done here. Some Zerglings do make it around, kill 1 sentry so far, and he's having to use a lot of force fields to do this, which means he will have to warp out eventually.
Yeah, he's doing some damage here. Now, another nice force field. He's going to snipe that queen. He's just angling this just well enough that he's not quite having to ever full-on engage this army.
Wow, this is almost perfectly executed, Tasteless. Look at the amount of damage he's getting done, and he will get out of there.
That was so well done.
Oh my God, he's only lost 1 sentry.
That's not supposed to work, by the way.
No, that was fantastic. I
thought that was a suicide mission back there. But no, he got in there, took out some queens, a lot of that Zerg army, drove the drones out, did the damage, and got back home.
The most important thing, he lost only 1 sentry during all that. Of course, a lot of sentry energy, but behind this, he's getting +1 in blink. He's gone up to 7 gates. He's getting that robotics, and even adding some cannons to stop counterattacks. Naniwa is going for that 2-base blink stalker all in.
I love this beautiful transition. Get in there, do that damage, and plan B now. The Blink Stalker all in might just have Soulkey in such a position that he won't be able to out-micro his opponent. Force fields plus Blink, Zerg is going to have a hard time against that.
That's true. It's going to take a long time to kill any Protoss units off, but Soulkey has more supply right now. He's up 143 to 110. He's getting his Hydralisk range. He's making a lot of Hydras and Roaches who have speed. He almost has a +1 range attack, in fact. So his upgrades are a bit better, and he has just the full tech tree for this portion of the game.
Here we go. The Guardian Shield is up. Force fields are coming down now. The angle here a little bit tricky for the Protoss to get into. If he could have just slipped down there a little bit further. Now that pylon is finishing, so another warping round can come. That spine crawler, by the way, so well positioned.
And you know what, yeah, this is a great position here from Soulkey, but Naniwa does get to hide on the high ground quite often. This is the type of attack that can go on for 5, even 10 minutes.
Absolutely. It looks like now he might try to go around that. Will put that pylon at risk of being taken out. There is a probe with the army, however, so he can remake a pylon if he wants to continue to warp in. Now, by the way, Zerg at 176 supply, but hold that thought. Force field's coming down here now.
Dealing a lot of damage to the front of Soulkey's army, pulling back most of his sentries here. A really great job so far by Naniwa, picking off a lot of Soulkey's army.
Naniwa continuing to press onward, pushing forward. Can he get Zerg out of position now? Another nice force field as he blinks back. He has to have absolutely perfect micro.
Oh, those force fields, Tasteless, trapping a lot of the Hydras. He's dealing a great amount of damage, but Soulkey's supply is remaining so high, he's still up at 150.
And now Soulkey is closing in around on the rest of this army, forcing Naniwa to retreat. Naniwa right now in a lot of trouble with that second, the plan B all in, I guess you could call it, resulting in a failure.
Well, look at this. Multiple attacks right now. He's warped in some Stalkers over at the third base, trying to deal some damage, while this other group of Stalkers, they're staying right outside the main and natural. He's still trying to get something done, but...
move command there.
It's looking grim right now for Naniwa.
Yeah, it really is. I like the idea of what Naniwa is doing, but I have to question how effective it will ever be in this situation. Soulkey, it's such a lead. I mean, Naniwa is barely scraping at 100 supply right now, as Soulkey has two massive armies chasing away Soulkey on both sides of the map here.
Soulkey's up by 70 supply, and you can really see it on this map. So much Zerg coming up right now. Naniwa even has to kill part of his own wall to get home, but on two bases with very little tech, this is something that's almost impossible to come back from.
Yeah, well, I mean, the real curse is here for Naniwa is how do I get a third base? Zerg could take a fourth and a fifth if he wants to right now, or he could play it differently and just try to run Protoss over. It looks like that's going to be his plan here now as he pushes forward. And that's going to be a GG.